Hello, Timothy from TH3D Studios just sent me out this EZABL and a filament runout sensor for the TEVO Tarantula Pro. I've been waiting for this to come out for a while, and this is going to be awesome, guys. Let me run my intro and we'll get to installing. Okay, the first thing we want to do, of course, is unplug the power supply. And I printed out the EZABL mount I downloaded from TH3D. The two screws that are in it, the bolts are M3 by 12s. I don't have any M3 by 10s. These are a little bit longer, but they should work perfectly fine. We're going to mount that here on the hot end, on the left side. There's two holes, there's four holes there for the fan, only the two bottom screws are currently being used. The top two are open. And that noise in the background is one of my Ender 3s working. Now you don't want to get these over tight, just snug them down. Take our sensor, take off the bottom nut. Let's spin the top one up quite a bit. We're going to have to adjust this later. Keep in mind when you put the sensor in, on the side of the sensor right here, there's a small adjustment screw. Be sure you don't put that around the back side so you can see it. And leave it there on the front. Once we get all done and we put the nozzle down on the bed, we're going to take our big flat wrench that you typically get with printers, like this, and we're going to space this 2 millimeters off the bed for its height. That hang around the back for now. Okay, let's tip the printer over on the side. Now the Xion stop switch, which is right here on the side of the printer, we're going to unplug that. We're no longer going to be using it since we're putting on the EZABL. So cut a little clip here. It's tied to two wires. Let me take that clip off. Let me put on my glasses so I can see. Okay, one thing, the Xion stop has 3 wires on it. One of the wires has X's on it. The center one has like gray stripes like a highway might have, dividing the lanes. And the last one has a bunch of text writing. The wire that has the text on it, the writing, we're going to cut that out. We do not need that. Otherwise it's going to send 5 volts back to the EZABL board here that we're going to be installing, and it's going to short it out. And if for some reason you should ever decide you don't want your EZABL on the printer or you're replacing it, this wire is not needed whatsoever, so you can just plug it back in. So for safety's sake, let's just cut this completely out. And I'll just follow this wire all the way back to where it plugs in at. We do not need that whatsoever. Totally don't need that. And on the board here, I'll put a diagram up on the screen. There's a white plug right here. That's where the ZN stop plugs into. Now, if you was to cut the wires for some reason, there's a little connector here we can run the bare wires in, positive and negative. But since this new box that TH3D came out with, you can just plug it straight in. It's really convenient. Jumping ahead about 5 minutes, I took out the 4 screws for the motherboard. I had to cut a couple clips on the wires so I could get it out of the way and get the motherboard pulled out far enough that I could get to this top plug where it's got my red and black, my power coming in from the power supply feeding the motherboard, so I can hook up my red and black wires that go to the EZABL, which I have right here, and I'm stripped back. And once you strip them back, wrap them up real good, nice and tight. Take the wire, bend it over on itself. That way the connector will have a little something extra to grab there, and hopefully the wire won't pull out. Take our screwdriver and we're going to loosen up one connector at a time. Take our red wire. Stick it all the way in the connector. Snug it down. Give it a tug, make sure it's good. And let's move on to black, loosen it up. Further. Of course, my fingers are getting in the way here. Got them in, tightening it down. I'm sure you're looking at my back. I guess I should have wore a shirt with a logo on it. Give you guys something to look at. And both wires a little tug. They're good. Oh. Now the fun part, trying to get the screws back in. probably noticed one of my heat sinks and my stepper driver fell off, so I'm going to have to glue that back on. It's pretty loose. Be sure when you tip this over, check these heat sinks and make sure they're not touching any of the pins, otherwise you're going to short them out. Make sure they're straight. You have these little solder joints on both sides of the pins. Make sure those heat sinks are not touching them. One more screw after this to go. Almost got it, guys. And the one up in the top left corner. Alrighty, last screw is tight. You route the wires out the side of the little control box here. Once again, wrap up the wires real good, the red and the black, bend them over in the middle, I hope I have a good camera angle on this since I can't redo it. Cut that thread off, I don't need that in my way. And these other two wires are going to go on the positive and the negative on the opposite side of the box. I'll take a screwdriver, loosen up the connectors. There are the two screws here. Make sure they're open. Of course, this is being a pain. Okay, those wires are good. They're very hard to get in there. Very tiny area there. That was kind of a pain. Grab the wire to the Easy ABL, which is laying here. There's a plug right here on the back. It goes in one way. Clips in place. And that's good to go. And there's two different versions of the kit. The one you can hardwire with these wires here, getting power off the power supply, or you get an adapter plugged straight into the wall, which in my case actually this time probably would have been easier. All my other printers are hardwired, but it would have been easier. Let me grab some glue so I can put this heat sink back on. Well, it might stay, let's see. Make sure I'm away from those pins. It's not going to stay on. That should be good for now. Alrighty. And now on the filament runout sensor, since we got the printer turned over here, let's hook it up. One wire. Plug it in the bottom of the filament runout sensor. For the sake, now let's take a piece of filament for now and just plug it. That's no good, that's pretty brittle stuff there. Grab something different here in a minute. Take our little board here, which is marked. Okay, this is for the sensor. I believe it says FTL next to, and down there below the TH3D logo it says board. We take our other little wire here, plug that into board. There's a piece of heat shrink tubing that's supplied just to protect this so it doesn't short out and nothing gets to it. Cover that up real well. Actually, let's run one wire out each side. I think that would look better. Like I'm all thumbs today. Pretty good there. I'm going to go grab my heat gun. And if you don't have a heat gun, you can use a blow dryer. It'll just take a little bit longer and heat that up. And that'll shrink up around that real well to hold it in place and protect the connection so you don't short out against anything. Okay, I went and got my heat gun out of the garage. Put some gloves on here just to be safe. And that looks pretty good. Don't have to be perfect. And over here on our board, you'll see you have your connectors here. You've got green, you've got blue, and you've got kind of an orangish red color. This is going to go in the one that's orange, that's open, right above one of your LCD ribbon cables. You'll have an open 3-prong plug there. Take that and plug it in right there. And of course, if you can't get your finger in there to click it in, you can take a screwdriver and carefully push it in place also. And that fell off again. And that's good to go. Also, unplug this again. Run it back out the side of the case here. Tie some of this up. Yeah, I can just leave that underneath the frame. Clip off the excess on the zip ties. And let's see, ribbon cables. We put a zip tie back over here on those. Keep them up out of the way. I'm pretty sure they're going to be fine, but a bunch of stuff out of the way here. Plug the sensor back in. Cover out of the way. And I gotta go glue this back on that stepper driver. This heat sink keeps falling off, and I gotta have that on there. I don't want to risk it getting hot. So once again, let me go grab some glue so I can glue that back on. I went looking through my drawer over here of goodies for my printers, and I have an extra one here. And something. A small one right here would be perfect. Yep, that'll work perfect. The other one's garbage. I got my new toy. Any of you guys out there that vape, this thing is pretty cool. SMOK. Got this today. It's like a grip for a gun or something. It's kind of a dark blue. Pretty cool. Anyway, for those who vape. I think I got everything here. going on with my film in here, but yeah, this is brittle for some reason. That's no good. Shouldn't be brittle. Grab another piece. Just so we got something to stick in the sensor so I can test it. And just let that sit in there, that'll be good to go. And the Xion stop switch here we no longer need. So we can remove it and put it in a collection of all the others. Toss it aside for now. Now I got to put on, let's see, I did not order me any solid bed mounts from TH3D, so I ran down to Lowe's and I bought some little steel sleeves and washers that I'm going to use. And I measured here, I need basically 15 millimeters for a gap, so let me reposition my chair here and we'll get that going. All hooked up. Let me go ahead and plug it in real quick and we can test out the switch. Make sure the EZABL is triggering it properly. A little control box here, we'll have a green light and a red light. Turn on the power, and if you can see it on camera, we've got a green light there, and as we touch the sensor it lights up, meaning it's triggering properly. So that's good, we got it wired right. So now it's safe for me to go ahead and put the cover back on this little case. Turn the power back off. Disconnect the power cord. Look for the case, which is somewhere. And I got to reposition the camera. I don't know where I put the case at, guys. It's here somewhere. I've got that cover here somewhere. I got to put that back on. Let me reposition the camera and we'll continue. Here. Cover. Slides all the way to the end, and there's a catch. If you squeeze hard, it will click past it and snap shut. And that's good to go. That will stay on, won't go anywhere. Let me reposition the camera and I'll put on the solid bed mounts. And another thing that you definitely want to do, if you put solid bed mounts on and get rid of your springs, there's no kind of compression or give, and if your nozzle should ever crash into the bed or you have a problem, you need to get rid of this coupler and put a plumb coupler on it that separates in the middle. TH3D does sell them, and like I say, if the nozzle should ever crash or there's a mishap, it'll pull apart and separate. That way you don't tear up your bed or your nozzle or your EZABL or anything. It just comes apart. So this definitely needs to get replaced. This one here, it'll pull apart like a accordion, and then you got to throw them away and replace them. Where the other type, they have a plastic piece of poly in the middle and they interlock and they're reusable if they ever come apart. Alrighty, let's get the solid bed mounts on. Screw all these wheels. Take off the springs, and I'll put these steel sleeves in there with a washer on each side. depending on how well these work out, I may not replace these. Might just leave them. And I couldn't find the spacer long enough, 15 millimeters at Lowe's, so I bought something a little shorter, and I'm adding washers to it. Top and bottom to make up the distance. And it should be about right, I hope. But as it goes with 3D printing, as you know, nothing is always as expected. There's always something to do or change, but that's part of the fun with the hobby. Always have something to fix or work on. If things were perfect all the time, I don't think we would be happy. I wouldn't be. Who wants something they don't ever have to work on and is always perfect? Okay. For the time being, I'll go ahead and just use these big plastic wheels for nuts. They work fine. I can tighten them down pretty good. On my other printers, I've done away with them and just put regular nuts on, block washers. But we want the bed as level as possible so that when we level it with the sensor, it's almost perfect. Since I've been doing a lot of live streams lately, I guess I could have done this on a live stream. Do a build, but I guess that'll be a different product for another day. I'm getting pretty comfortable with doing live streams and talking to people. If I get this fourth one on here, guys. Seems like it's always the last one of whatever you're doing that gives you the problems. There, I got it. Just tighten it down real good. And that's tight. Let's see, now I need my power cord, get it plugged back in wherever it went. Let me grab the power cord and plug it in so I can bring that bed down, get it leveled, and then we can work on some software. Alright, I got the power cord, got it plugged in. Let's turn it on. Oh. Let's do a little bit of cable management here. Now the sensor, the top of the sensor, you don't want to pull the cable tight. You want to put a loop in it. You don't want the hot end moving back and forth and wiggling that cable. It does have some strain reliever built into the top of the sensor to help protect it. Still, there's plenty of excess. Leave a loop in it. And then if you choose to zip tie it and not tape it, don't have the zip tie too tight. Just snug it, but do not get it tight. You don't want to cut into that wire and damage it. So I would say just put a loop in it. Snug it up. Cut off excess once again. And that's looking pretty good for now. So move that out of the way. I don't want that to get damaged. That's pretty important to me. Alrighty. And also I noticed when you look at the front of the sensor, there's like a window right below the strain relief, the orange cap. And as you touch it, you can see it go from green, it's flashing red. So you can tell it's being activated. That's pretty cool. So let's auto home this. Hit prepare. Go down to auto home. Actually, let's shut this off. Before I do anything else, I need to update the firmware because there's no Z stop. It's just going to crash. So, and it has to auto home to the middle of the bed. So give me a second. Let's get working on. Okay, go to TH3D Studios, their knowledge base, download their latest firmware, unzip it. Once you've unzipped it, you come to this directory right here. Go to Open Firmware Windows.bat. Double click on it. And since the TEVO Tarantula Pro has a bootloader installed, all I have to do is to hook up my USB to the printer and configure the software. Firmware. Anyway, go to Tools. Your board is an Adreno Mega 2560. Make sure that's checked. Port minus COM3. Yours may be different. Be sure you check whichever one is here available. And don't have anything minimized or using any of your other COM ports on your computer at the time or you're going to have an error. Go to your configuration.h file. Open it. Scroll down to where you find the TEVO Tarantula Pro. TEVO printers, Tarantula's right here, the first one. Uncomment this line. When you uncomment, take away the two slashes, it turns green. And it says if using these out, install guide, and then uncomment define. So we're going to uncomment these two to enable our filament runout sensor. Xion Pro mounts, Tarantula Pro.We. We're going to uncomment. And if you want to use a Tarantula boot screen when it reboots, you would uncomment this line. I want the TH3D boot screen on all my printers when I have their version of Marlin on here. So I'm going to leave that alone. And if you go all the way down to the bottom, you find it. If you want to give your printer a name, you can go right here and you can uncomment these two slashes, and if you change where it says change me in between the quotations, you can put whatever name you want if you want to give your printer a specific name. I'm not going to do that at this time, so I'm going to leave that alone. And once we got that done, we're going to come up here, and the next thing all we have to do is hit upload. And then it will compile and upload the firmware. It's compiling sketch. Still working. Now it's uploading to the printer. And you'll see your LCD on your printer go dark, and then it'll reboot, and we'll have the TH3 logo. Upload is done. It says it's all completed. At this point, you can go ahead and close out this folder. And now it's time to move on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and auto home now. Prepare, auto home. And there we go. So now, well, let's load a test print and see how it goes. The test G-code file is loaded on the SD card. Go to print from SD. .200mm test G-code. And while that's heating up, we'll be right back. Well, that's about it for this video, guys. I'd really like to thank TH3D Studios for supplying me with these awesome parts here. The Easy ABL and the filament runout sensor that I have on my new TEVO Tarantula Pro now. It's been needing it for a while. Now I have it, and I'm going to be happy from here on out. At the end of the video, there'll be some pictures if you guys want to check out some pictures of their products. And in the description below, a link to their website where they have a lot of cool stuff. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.